Welcome to This Week on Veterans Corner with Sal Santori. First, I must give honor to those who gave their all in defense of our freedoms from around the world. They made the ultimate sacrifice for each and every one of us. So let's take a 10-second quiet pause to acknowledge their life and sacrifice. As many of our global greatest of all time family members know, I'm based in Harrisburg, and even so, many of our shows are done in real time, a live broadcast across all our platforms, including YouTube, WMBS Radio, Facebook, Instagram, and we're taking a look at adding TikTok to our streaming outlets. We have a dialed in focus on southwestern PA, specifically Fayette County. The Sal Santori Show began in 2014 to provide cutting edge information to our veterans and families. A year later, we created the KZERN Community and Veterans Outreach to do more than just talk. What was happening is our show was obviously getting the mission accomplished, and we were having folks go in to the county level VA offices and actually overwhelming their resources. Which, as I told Tony DiFrancesco, a director at that time, I said, Tony, that's a great problem to have. And he agreed, like, yeah, that is. But what do we do about it? Well, I thought, well, okay, how about hire and train a couple of folks? And I know the VA and the DOD, there was no budget for that. So my next thought was, all right, how about if we train some volunteers? Can't do that because of the HIPAA law. And I also could not go to their office as a volunteer because of that same reason. So I thought, what to do about this? How are we going to fix this problem? And we decided it would best be resolved if we find some type of way to be hands on. So some of us got together and came up with the idea of creating the outreach, and we named it the KZERN after a real life person, deceased. She had been living, obviously, and she was Pennsylvania's Mother Teresa. Her name was KKY, Zern, ZERN. So we named it the KZERN Community and Veterans Outreach. We included the community so no one uh, would need to be left out, left behind. And it's very important that we did that. And you'll see as we go along how important it is to not be left behind. So we created the KZERN Community and Veterans Outreach to do more than just talk. And since 2015, the show has been the voice of the KZCVO, the Sal Santori Show. And now in its platform of Veterans Corner is the voice of the KZCVO. And since 2023, Project Intervene, which is the veteran suicide prevention effort of the KZERN Community and Veteran Outreach. And the KZCVO is, in fact, a registered 501c3 nonprofit to help our veterans and families. So, several months ago, at the request of Pennsylvania Players and Taverns Association, along with the great folks at Pennsylvania Skill Games, um, I began inviting guests to the show who are residents of uh, Fayette County, in and around, residents and business owners. Um, and we began talking about Senate Bill 756 and the ramifications of that bill, uh, should it actually travel through the House and Senate and become law. Just what effect that would have on our social clubs, our nonprofit social clubs that are serving our veterans, our firemen, fire companies, police officers, state troopers, um, VFWs and legions and AMVETs. And we needed to let folks know what this was all about because uh, this was being attempted to be some backdoor legislation keep it hush hush. That way nobody knows about it. Nobody can argue it. All of a sudden it'll go through, it'll become law, and well, then it's too late. Um, and what the law wanted to do was add an up to 43% tax on top of the already tax percentages that were being paid on the revenues of these skill machines. You walk into a VFW, a Legion, fire company social quarters, and you'll see the PA skill games along the walls, for folks to play. And these are what we're talking about. Well, the revenues from those, the revenues that they generate, go a long, long way in supporting and keeping the doors open, and especially during COVID, these were lifesavers. They were lifelines. They made the difference between survival and closure. Um, the revenues are that important. Now, if we take a 43% tax increase on top of the 13, 14, 15% that's already being paid, it kind of wipes out any positive cash flow uh, for the clubs. And not only does it negate their ability to utilize these revenues, it makes them pointless to have in the clubs. So why have them? All right, go ahead, take your machines out. Well, those revenues now affect the clubs. Okay. Then the trickle down happens like this: the manufacturers that make these, well, now that the demand is reduced or next to nil or has completely dissipated, we've got to lay off our workers because we're not making machines, we're not producing machines. Uh, so we're going to hurt a whole lot of families throughout the state of Pennsylvania with laying these folks off. Then we get to the distributors, and they're folks that get the machines to the clubs and service them. They're impacted, let alone all the materials used to make them, which are all sourced in Pennsylvania: the wood, the metal, the paper, the cardboard, um, the software. The software is made in Pennsylvania. Um, Everything has been sourced in the state of Pennsylvania to make these machines. So now we're going to go in and we're going to really devastate the suppliers of the material. So as you can see, it was a huge, huge, impactful bill. And like I say, it was the attempt was being made to let's get this in the back door. Well, the good folks at PTAP and PA Skill asked me if I would start doing interviews and, letting folks know that this is what's going on and the details. So we did, and a very successful campaign. We, along with other venues that were chosen to help raise public awareness, were very successful and got the discussion on this bill dropped. Um, so at this point, it is no longer an issue. And that's not to say it can't be resurrected. There's always a possibility of anything. But our mission succeeded. We got that discussion dropped. In the meantime, uh, while I was interviewing folks and talking with folks in Fayette County area, I learned a lot about our veterans out in southwestern Pennsylvania, Fayette, Westmoreland, Somerset, even down into West Virginia. And what I learned is the huge, huge lack of DOD and VA support for our veterans and families. And that's not a good thing. We don't have to really be deep thinkers to realize that that is definitely not a good thing. Um, these we're talking about who um, the folks who signed the contract that we hoped would never have to be cashed. However, we did so, and we took the oath to defend the Constitution uh, from all enemies, both domestic and foreign, and to the extent that it could cost us our lives. We would defend it with our life if necessary. So these are the folks that have borne the brunt of battle and need support. And we're going to put a caveat in here and say, very realistically, that no one agency can do it all. So we're not looking to throw stones and rocks at the VA and say, boo, his snicker VA. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're acknowledging a need, um, and we're taking it another step further and saying our mission has become one of helping to fill that need. And remember, I said, not any one agency can do it all. So while we are bringing Project Intervene under the KZCVO into Southwest Pennsylvania, pardon me, we don't have the illusion that we're the all answer or answer all. That's not it either. Um, we simply want to address a need, do our part to fill it, and invite others to come and join us. Um, let's get it done. Let's get programs and support here for our veterans and families where there is none. I don't have any qualm in saying there is none. You have to travel either to uh, Clarksburg in West Virginia for that VA, or Pittsburgh to go to the VA up there. And that's assuming all of our veterans are well enough to travel. They have the ability to and the means to travel, and it's not a hardship. Well, reality says that's not going to be the case. Um, so we definitely want to do our part to bring what we can, bring services, bring solutions, bring programs and answers to Southwestern PA, and make it open to every veteran and family member and community folks, citizens of the community. We talk about Project Intervene being focused on veteran suicide prevention. And yes, we have a unique set of circumstances, as do first responders, as do police officers. We all have our own um, unique uniqueness within the big picture of the entirety. There are certain aspects about each group that set us apart, but the overall picture is that suicide, no one is exempt. I don't care who you are, no one is exempt. Um, and what we teach people and encourage people and help people to do is to become proactive, and we want to have a plan in place should it ever be needed, or should it ever be needed to be shared with someone who does need it. You never know what situation you may find yourself in, and it would be so fantastic to be able to be prepared and say, hey, I can help you. I can help. Here are some resources, here are some tools. Let's sit down, take a look at what's going on, and see what we can do. Um, as was the situation the past weekend out in Fayette County. For months, I've been talking about wanting to come out there and visit, and finally, God decided that this past weekend was the right time to go out from Harrisburg, spend some time and visit, make some new friends, and visit with the people that I've been talking with. And it's just amazing to sit back and look at all the pieces of the puzzle, all the steps that came into play uh, to make this happen. And what I'm talking about is we provided an intervention. We did what Project Intervene is designed to do. Uh, we've fulfilled a mission. Um, and we have a veteran now who is getting stronger, um, more positive, moving forward. and realizing that he does not he does not want to make a decision to make a permanent choice on what is may not seem to be a temporary problem. All right. We don't want to make a permanent decision about a temporary problem. And even though at the time, believe me, I get it. I've been there. I know it looks like an insurmountable uh, problem without solution. Um, and, all glory to God. The folks that are in Fayette County and part of the team have been huge in affecting this intervention and continue to support and communicate with and help our veteran uh, get from level to level, from strength to strength, and decision to decision each and every day. Uh, it's a beautiful thing, a beautiful thing. There is nothing in the world that I can share with you that gives my heart more meaning, more pleasure, more understanding that this is my purpose in life. My God given purpose is to help someone else get across that bridge. Um, it's a beautiful thing. Um, and the real beauty of it is it's not me. It's not about me. It's not anything I could ever do. It's God. And, you know, when the Bible talks about God chooses the foolish to confound the world, I'm a perfect example. God has a sense of humor, and he said, "Hey, Sal, you're a funny guy. You're a very funny guy, but you know what? I got something for you. I'm going to use you. Um, I put you through everything in your life that I did for a purpose. And it wasn't just to beat on you, um, it wasn't for that at all. It was so you could learn and you could be able to one day help someone else. And that is an amazing, amazing place to be able to help someone else and help others. Uh, and realize, it's not me, um, just a vessel. And I want to let everybody know that in addition to God, uh, the resources that He has put in our path have been nothing short of miraculous. These are people that I would never have um, the intestinal fortitude to visit with and talk with and say, hey, you know what? We need your help. Will you help us out? And these are people I'm talking about, like Pennsylvania Charitable Giving, the Pennsylvania Skill Charitable Giving people. Um, PA Skill has an entire branch of their operation dedicated to doing nothing but reviewing requests and meeting with charitable organizations, people who help others, and taking a look at their needs, listening to their requests, and finding ways they can help. Um, and it's beautiful. You know, they are not a company sitting back going, hey, you know, um, next year our bottom line is going to be 25% more in the black. Isn't that fantastic? That's not what they're saying. They're saying, hey, you know, if our bottom line is 15% better next year, guess what? We can help with 15% added revenue to the folks that are out there helping others, other charitable organizations. Of course, they're in it for a profit. Um, all, um, uh, what am I looking for? Non, all nonprofit business entities are in the business of making a profit, and that's the way it should be. What they do with those profits is what sets them apart. Um, so I can't thank Pennsylvania Skilled Charitable Giving enough for actually making this trip uh, that I just took out to southwestern Pennsylvania possible. I came out on the 15th, returned on the 18th, and it was by the generosity of Pennsylvania Skilled Charitable Giving that this trip was possible during the time that it was. So thank you very much. Some of our other community partners and sponsors is Hardee's of Myerstown, Hardee's charcoal broiled hamburgers of Myerstown, Pennsylvania. They're a strong supporter of Project Intervene and the KZCVO. There's so much that they do with us. There is so much that they invite us to do with them to let folks know what they're doing for children, for people in need. They have Santa out for Christmas along with gifts and everything and invite the children in. They do the same thing for trick or treat. Um, they have veterans programs where you automatically, as a veteran, get a 15% discount on their food. Uh, they're just an amazing company. They are another company that says, we're here for a profit, but guess what? It's to help you, not just to line our pockets. So, again, Hardee's, thank you. We have organizations such as VFWs and Legions. Um, we have the 910, the Lickdale Legion in Lickdale, Pennsylvania. We have the Hershey Legion in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We have VFW supporting our work and our missions and also serve as headquarters for various counties. We have Anvil in Lebanon County, Anvil in Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, and the Anvil VFW supports the work of Project Intervene. We also have the Hershey VFW in Hershey, Pennsylvania, Dauphin County, and together with the Hershey Legion, they serve as county HQs for Dauphin County for Project Intervene. We have the AMVETS, the wonderful AMVETS out in Hopwood, Pennsylvania. Uh, Beautiful place. We're visiting with the board of the AMVETS to talk about some future opportunities, plans, discussions on how we can work together to best serve our veterans and families. And I met with them, and I'll tell you what, it's a beautiful place, and there are wonderful people inside. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Stanley, and I'm going to tell you, I visited with their commander, Commander Stanley, and you're a great, great, wonderful man with a great heart. I really enjoyed the time with you, so thank you, sir. We also have in the private sector, we have uh, JB's Market in Dunbar, Pennsylvania. JB's is a unique general store with far more than what you would imagine when you walk in. It's kind of one of those places that the door looks small, and as you go through, you realize the inside is huge. Uh, JB's has everything in there from daily meal specials, and those are prepared. Everything is prepared on site and from scratch. Um, I visited with Jason over there, and it's just amazing. Um, he he barely had time to visit with me. His customer flow was that great. They have Perry's ice cream over there, and according to Jason, they're going to have to buy their own truck to keep it in stock. Um, Actually, he did not say that, but I'm envisioning they may need to do that in the near future. It's just a turnaround, and they're the only general store in the area, and he doesn't take advantage of that fact. His pricing is very reasonable. His customer service is beyond reproach. And they're just wonderful, wonderful people. I got to visit with Jason's mom. She also works in the market, and some other family members, and it's a great operation, beautiful operation. And then we have Frank Fratto Inc. and Rock and Roll LLC in Scottdale, Pennsylvania. Jimmy Fratto and his brother have taken over a business begun by their father, and they have done some marvelous things with it. they help to support the VFW's Legions, um, small bars, mom and pop bars, restaurants, things like that, by bringing the PA skill machines, maintaining them, taking good care of them, and helping out with any issues that may arise. So this is something that they've been doing for quite a long time. And Jim and I have had many conversations about how we can get together, what we can do, who we can talk to try and reach more veterans and families and let them know, that Project Intervene is there. We are in Fayette County. I got to spend a lot of time with Larry Doherty. Um, as uh, as you may know, Larry is the uh, I can't. I lose my train of thought every now and then. So at least I'm not AI, right? uh, uh, his ward, for lack of a better term, has won his ward as a committeeman, and he is definitely a conduit between elected officials. Obviously, Larry's elected, but on up the chain of command, up and down the chain of command. So Larry is actually the guy to talk to in Fayette County regarding Project Intervene. And we're talking with his wife, Anita, about developing uh, programs and support for the spouses who are left behind when our National Guard units are deployed. Her experience was that she was left behind and there was nothing there for her uh, as far as support once Larry was deployed, which is really, really can be problematic. Um, not only is it hard on the spouse who's left behind, it's also going to play hell on the spouse who is deployed because not only is he thinking about what he's doing, where he is, and his buddies, his squad members, his other soldiers that are responsible for each other. Now he's also thinking about what is going on at home and does not have that peace of mind that rest assured to know that everything's okay. And I don't have to tell you what kind of distraction that would be. I think we can all agree that we know that is a huge distraction and can cost lives, not just that person, but also the people that are depending on them. So we definitely want to take everything very seriously. Take a look at it and say, okay, how are we going to fill these voids? What are we going to do? Um, we spoke a lot with Mr. Harry Cochran, who is a great statesman. Uh, pardon me. I spoke at length rather, with Harry, and have the utmost respect for his heart. He has a true heart for people, um, and his level of education and his experience give him unique qualifications to be able to really, really make a difference and really help. And Larry and I have had some very uh, extensive conversations that we will be doing just that. Larry is very interested in uh, how we can help to fill these voids. So the team is coming together very strongly with all the right people who God has chosen to put in place. And as I said, these are people that um, are beyond my pay grade, as it were. Uh, and yet we're talking like we've known each other for years. We have the common problem to solve, the common mission at hand. So it takes personalities out of it and makes it just like the military. How do we accomplish the mission? And that's exactly what we're doing. I can't thank everyone enough that I got to visit with in Fayette County. And we'll be back on June 5th. I'll be visiting with the great folks over at the AMVETS again, and we're putting together a town hall and some other meetings in Fayette County, and quite possibly Westmoreland and Somerset. So I hope this information has definitely sparked your interest. There are veterans that need our help. And as always, I say each and every week to please find someone to help.